أنت دست الموت وحدك يا يسوع الناصري، مظهرا للخلق مجدك الجمال الباهري، مظهرا للخلق مجدك جمال الباهري. والجنود العلوية لاقت الرب الصمد، بالأغاني السرمدية فوق في دار الأبد، بالأغاني السرمدية فوق في دار الأبد. أنت دست الموت وحدك يا يسوع الناصري، مظهرا للخلق مجدك بالجمال الباهري، مظهرا للخلق مجدك بالجمال الباهري. دخلوا المجد العليا بتسابيح النعيم، وغناهم يا مسيا قمت وأنت وأنت جحيم. الموت وحدك يا يسوع الناصري، مظهرا للخلق مجدك بالجمال الباهري، مظهرا للخلق مجدك بالجمال الباهري.
كل سنة وانتم طيبين. خريستوس انستي. طب اي حد سبيكر بيجي عندنا بيحب يشوف الناس قدام. لما بنشوف الناس ورا انا بفقد كده يعني 50% من التركيز الحقيقة. ف اطلعوا قدام، اطلعوا قدام. انا عارف ان انتوا كلكم متواضعين بتعملوا بالآية بتاعة المسيح من اولون يسرون اخرون واخرون اولون، بس عشان تتم النبوة. اتفضلوا اتفضلوا، الاخرون اولون. يلا يا دكتور سام تعال اتفضل. وماله بعد اذنك، هو لايف ستريم يشتغل بس يعني ممكن لو تشغل التلفزيون يبقى كتر خيرك، كتر خيرك. احنا بنرحب ب سيلفيا سعيد، مش كده؟ سعد سيلفيا سعد، انا اسف. she's one of the يعني elite and good names يعني. We heard about her a lot in the area of counseling and relationship counseling with the kids and families and all that kind of thing. We've been in contact with Sylvia over the last few weeks. نشكر ربنا she was really helpful. She didn't يعني she was very helpful and supportive, and she showed very interest to come and to bless us in our meeting. I hope we all can get as much as we can out of her and from her experience. And I invite you on your behalf, Sylvia, I'll invite them to ask you as much as they can in the area of dealing with the kids and raising the kids. ربنا يباركك واشكرك مرة تانية. Let's welcome Sylvia, please.
to the PowerPoint. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited and أنا أشوفكم وأخذ blessing of Sam Bishoy. Probably that's my second time at Sam Bishoy, and I don't think it changed much. I think it's kind of keeping the same look. Christos Anesti. And we are going to be covering effective communication in family today. I've been asked to cover this topic today. So we're going to look at it from the perspective of us as couples, partners, and also communication between us and the different age groups. So what's the most effective communication across the developmental stages? What's the expected from me? In the presentation also, I'll be covering 3 important theories that govern how we communicate with each other and how we kind of connect. So we're going to be talking about 3 theories and 3 expectations of the communication skills between the different age groups, 0 to 5, 6 to 11, and 12 to 18. To start with, till we get the presentation up and running, what is communication? So when you hear the word communication, what comes to mind? Dialogue, thank you. Arguing, absolutely. Different points of view, point of views. Accepting, so lots of compromises and trying to understand the message from... so you want me to screen mirror? Oh, hello. Hi. My name is Sylvia. What's your name? Isaac. Hi, Isaac. All right. What happened to the start mirroring? Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciated it. Okay. Let's start. All right. Great. We were up to arguing. Compromising and trying to accept other points of views. Anything else we need to... Tone, yes. So verbal and non-verbal, yeah. So it's the very old way of defining communication, isn't it? It's a message, and we've got a sender, and we've got a recipient, and there are different styles and different modes of sending that message. That's the nutshell in the core what communication is. بس طبعا when it comes to relationships, communication بتاخد أشكال مختلفة كتيرة. ممكن تبقى very harmonious, ممكن تبقى very easy with minimum effort, وممكن أبقى بspend so much effort إن أنا send the message across, and despite all the effort اللي أنا بحطها, despite how clarity اللي أنا بحاول place it into my message, ممكن the other person يكون not perceiving it. And that's because we are human. We're not like sort of like a computer or a robot. It's not like sort of like assist. في lots of factors that contribute to how I'm sending the message, what is the message, what is it conveying, and how the other person is perceiving it. عشان make meaning of it from a humanistic point of view, not from a data analysis point of view, we need to look at it as a connection. So I want you to remember this. Communication within the family is connection. So every time you hear me saying communication today, I want your brain straight away to register it as a connection. Wonderful. All right, it does matter. It does really matter because, number one, we are all human, so we need to build an emotional safety. It's not just about the message I'm sending. It's not about the needs or about the clarity. It's also how safe I feel sending the message and how safe the other person is feeling to receive the message. When it is done well within our family system, it strengthens the family bonds. I feel heard, I feel understood, I feel validated, I feel acknowledged. All of this cannot be done by just looking at communication from a data analysis point of view. When it is done well, when it's done well also, it reflects Christ's love. So I am capable of loving the other despite the differences. I'm capable of accepting the other despite not agreeing on every perspective. And that's in the core is God's love. For our children, it becomes even more crucial, more important, because when it's made well or not well, in all cases it shapes the child's sense of security. So imagine with me sending a message that you love the child, you love your child, but you love the child conditionally. Only when they are doing the right thing, only when they are behaving, only when they are quiet. What kind of a message, what kind of a communication or a connection is this? It shapes their identity and their self-worth. So if they feel understood, heard, acknowledged, and validated through our connection, through our effective communication, they thrive and they have a better self-esteem, of course. And it also shapes how they perceive their relationships with others and with God. So the more we are effective in our communication, we are launching a healthy adult into the society. So it becomes really crucial to focus on our communication or our connection. 3 theories I would like أن أنا أشير معاكم. من كل theory هيطلع an implication for practice للcommunication أو الconnection بتاعتنا. أول theory عايزة أشيرت معاكم هي attachment theory. كل واحد فينا من وهو صغير خالص، من وهو baby. Is it okay to switch on and off between Arabic and English? Yeah, we're all good with that. من واحنا صغيرين خالص، من واحنا babies, develop a certain type of an attachment style. And if any of you in the mental health field, in the psychology field, of course, is very familiar with these type of theories. Attachment theory was made by someone called Bowlby, and he in the core of it, he shared with us إنه بعد كل الريسيرش اللي عمله, he came up with that theory saying إنه children will thrive. So even us, not just our children, إحنا كمان وإحنا صغيرين, we would thrive if الcaregiver أو main person اللي بيlook after us is available, emotionally available, not just physically, not just feeding me, making sure that I am clean and I am well rested, but also emotionally available, emotionally attuned to me or me to my child. When I am responsive, and the responsive بتاعي is matching the child's need if I am the caregiver. And if I am consistent. So ما فيش مرة أنا تعبانة I'm going to be dismissive to the child's needs or the child's emotion, or مرة أنا التانترم حاصلة مثلا في البيت فأنا I'm responsive better ليها عشان ما فيش stimulus outside وما فيش حاجة واخدة attention بتاعي, and then when I'm outside I'm treating the tantrum in a different way and I'm dismissive ليها علشان أنا مكسوفة مثلا, or I'm embarrassed in front of others in public. So Bowlby said if the attachment is responsive, consistent, then I am developing a secure attachment. And that secure attachment makes me feel safe, makes me feel accepting who I am. لو ده ما حصلش, resort into anxious attachment or avoidant attachment. والاتنين are maladaptive. الاتنين بيتعبوا جدا for us as adults and for children, of course, as well. And they are self-explanatory. If I'm anxious, يعني معناها أن I'm clingy, I start to have separation anxiety. If I am a child, if I am a partner in a relationship, a grown-up partner in a relationship, هبقى مش عارف أتعامل مع any argument, any conflict, أي conflict أو أي disagreement في الdialogue ممكن يسبب لي anxiety جوايا. I'm going to be left, I'm going to be abandoned. And if I am an avoidant as a partner in any argument, I'm going to be going into a cave. I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to try to put it under the rug and pretend it's not there. So, of course, it's not healthy, because in any relationship, there will be argument. In any relationship, there will be certain level of disagreement. And if we have a secure attachment, we will be capable of dealing with the disagreement in a healthy way. طيب, what's the implication from الكلام اللي بولبي قاله? Communication مع بعض. So I want you to think about it as a connection and a communication between me and my partner and between me and my kids. Communication should be continuous, consistent, calm, and safe. I'm going to leave you for a second to look at that. Continuous, consistent, calm, and safe. Now, as we are progressing throughout the presentation, I want you to do a self-reflection, a genuine self-reflection. How much of what's suggested أنا قادر إن أنا أحققه في بيتي، قادر أحققه مع عائلتي. Okay? Are we going at a good pace, or do you want me to speed or slow down? Okay. The second theory I would like to share معاكم is the social learning theory. So someone called Bandura, again عمل a huge amount of research, came up with that theory. إزاي إحنا بنتعلم. So us as grown-ups and kids as well. يعني لما احنا كنا kids. We learn by watching, by imitating, by the emotional tone more than the explanation. So if I am a teacher in a classroom and I am using very clear expressive language to explain a task, but I am doing it in a very anxious way, in a very abrupt way, in an angry way, what do you think will happen to my students in the classroom? Will they learn? Why? Because the connection is not happening. I'm not sending a message of safety. I'm not sending a message that I am accepting you. Apply the same concept to me and my partner. Apply the same concept to me and my children. If I am not generating an emotional tone that is conveying a message of safety, a message of trust, a message of acceptance, then the message is not going to get across, because I'm not working on the connection. Okay? So the implication of the social theory is in the communication style بتاعتي becomes the child's inner voice. If I'm continuously criticizing my child, if I'm continuously only expressing my disagreement or picking on the negatives, what might happen? If it's their inner voice, what's going to happen inside of them? Absolutely, the self-confidence and the self-worth will go down, and it will become their inner voice. So continuously they will be recalling the sentences, the comments, the feedback that you were giving them. So if you were only focusing on giving them criticism or negative comments, that becomes their inner voice. Of course, it means, with the social learning theory, it means I need to lead by example. So if I would like my child to be regulated, to be calm, to be able to manage their emotions, I don't like the word control emotions, I like the word manage emotions, then what I need to do first? Manage my own emotions. If I would like my partner to be more responsive, if I would like my partner to be less reactive, I need to do that as well. I need to start by myself. So the social learning theory is inviting us to think about myself, lead by example with the type of communication I would like to have in my household. The last theory for today is the emotion coaching, and it is developed by Gottman. John Gottman, I would like to remember this name. Have you heard of Gottman before? John Gottman, they have a marriage institute in America, him and his wife, Julie Gottman. They're both psychologists, and they calling themselves the Love Lab. Love Lab. They did a huge amount of research on lots and lots of couples, and they came up with certain tests and assessments, criteria for couples, for married couples, and they claim that they can predict whether this couple is going to continue or reach a divorce stage by 99.9% from the amount of people they saw. They have a huge amount of resources online, like complimentary free resources on YouTube, and they also have lots of very useful books if you would like to further read on this presentation. Gottman came up with a very good, important idea for myself, for my partner, and for my children. When I develop an emotion awareness, I am able to manage it. Name it to tame it. So, have you heard of the hand brain before? Dr. Dan Siegel is a doctor who deals with trauma. And he came up with a very good explanation to our brain. Very primitive, Bastiani, very easy to understand, and also it's good to share it with your children if you have any age group between 4 till about 18 and above. All what he described is that we have our hand represents our brain. That part of the brain is the survival brain. It's a very primitive brain. الresponsibility الوحيدة بتاعته is to keep us alive. So if I am crossing the road and I hear a car coming very fast, what would I do? Run away or go back? I will act on that scenario in a like a glimpse of a second. What helped me decide either to run away or to go back is that primitive brain. This part here of the brain, that's the amygdala, responsible for our emotions. And this part is calm and collected if we are experiencing small emotions. That part of the brain, that's the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain. It's the most complex part of the brain, and it's responsible for reasoning and logic and problem solving. When I'm experiencing little emotions, the prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, is enacted. It's working really well, it's functioning effectively. But when I experience big emotion, the prefrontal cortex, the reasoning part, flips, goes away. So in order for me to bring it back, what do I need to do for the emotions? Regulate it, manage it, calm it down in order for me to bring back the prefrontal cortex and being able to solve the problem that I have. Share this model with your children, any age from 4 onwards, so they can understand that when they are feeling chaotic on the inside and experiencing big emotions, they're not going to be able to deal with it right here, right now. I need to have some coping mechanism and some strategies to support myself in regulating my emotions back in order for me to solve the problem. So Gottman shared that with us. He said, the more I am aware of my emotion, I am able to name it and understand the impact of this emotion in my body. How is it making me feel physiologically? And being able to name it with my prefrontal cortex, I will be able to regulate it better. Right? So that applies for myself as an individual, applies for me and my partner, and applies for me and my children. And that can support an effective communication. Any questions or comments so far? To solve the problem, to come up with a solution, to come up with an agreement. So if I am in a situation where I am arguing in a very heated manner with my partner, do you think the argument is gonna get us anywhere? No. I need to calm down, I need to manage and balance and regulate my emotions and then come back. طبعا, of course, that needs to be done in a very calm and in a very safe way. So if I just disappear, if I become dismissive to the situation and to my partner, that's adding to the problem. But if I do it in a way that I am sending a message of safety and a message of trust, I am unable to deal with it right now. I promise I will come back once I regulate. I will be telling you, I'll send a message letting you know when I feel a bit better. So there is that promise I'm coming back. It's not just I'm dismissive to her, مثلا, emotions. تفضل. Depends on the word fix. What are we trying to achieve here? Coming to an agreement to something that we are both disagreeing on, it's not going to happen on the spot. But fix the sense of threat, the lack of safety happening in the relationship, because most of the time when we're trying to fix it on the spot, it's because I am screaming for safety. I'm screaming for security. Are we still good together? Are we still friends? Are we still habayib? If I fix that and leave the problem or leave the disagreement for later, that's wonderful. That's a successful path. But if I dismiss everything, the needs, the emotional needs, and the disagreement, then I am inviting the other person to feel not validated, not acknowledged. There is a lack of safety. Then there is a rupture in the relationship. Yeah? When I am trying to teach, repetition is expected, especially at the age group where they still mastering a certain skill. That's standard in the parenting, in the teaching. But if I am only repeating the negatives, then I am causing that damage in their inner voice. So it's important for me to comment and give a positive feedback on what they did well that day, and also repeating the skill that they need to master. Repeating is exactly. I like the sandwich model. Have you heard of the sandwich model? So something positive. Yeah, something positive, the bun on top, something negative in the middle, and then something positive, the bun down the bottom. And when I say a criticism or when I say a constructive feedback about something negative that they're doing, I need to explain why. What's the importance of it? Yeah. I need more details. I need more details about the age group we're talking about and an example. 5 to 7. And what's an example? And there is also 29 to 36.
What else did you need, sorry?
So give me an
Just
example of
talking
something silly.
Talking silly, like, you know, what they see on, like, you know, TV shows, they repeat the way they talk, you know, just making sounds rather than talking.
It sounds like the issue, the presenting issue is outside of the behavior, the presenting behavior that we're talking about. Are they bored? Are they grabbing your attention? Like something else in the bottom.
No, they just make weird things. I mean, just talk properly.
So if they are repeating, for example, an ad that they heard on TV, and because you know how, like, sort of you go on autopilot, and sometimes you go to the toilet in the middle of the night, and the song that you heard in the car is still repeating in your head. That's usually what happens to them. So if it's bothering you that much, stop seeing the ad. You know what I mean? Like we're focusing on one part of the issue, but it seems it's bigger than that. Yeah, and maybe what I need to do is to stop commenting and just, if it's really, really bothering me, if it's irritating me, I just need to go somewhere else away from them.
So I think what she means that, for example, if they're not saying a bad word, but they're showing that they're gonna say it, but they don't say it, and then you look, and then they don't say it. So you say, no, that's not the way we say it. That this language is not accepted. That's what you mean? Yeah.
So it's an attitude. We're dealing with an attitude
Yeah,
here.
not coming from the home. It's coming from the school, coming from the community, whatever. It's not the house doesn't accept the way of talking or the language or the tone when you talk to your parent, but they're still coming with this bad stuff. So what shall we do? We keep repeating, Baba, what you thought. Baba, don't to your mom like that. Baba, you need to be kind to your brother or whatever.
If you are...
Same thing all day and they're not listening.
Yeah. And that's...
You get tired by the end of it.
I wonder, we are talking about communication as a connection. I wonder where is the connection in the examples I'm hearing. These are important, they're instructional, they're teaching, but they're not sending a clear message of connection. I want to connect on a deep level with you. I am using different methods and communication styles to become closer to your soul. So bring it on a deeper level rather than just noticing the behavior, noticing the language. Because Ana Maiki, it is a generation problem, and God only knows what we see in schools, yani. Exactly. And it has nothing to do with the socioeconomic background. It has nothing to do with the suburb you live in Melbourne, because I go from, left, right, and centre, and I see it everywhere. And also, not just in Australia, but also it's worldwide. So we need to put this into consideration. But I guess we have a bigger purpose to achieve. We really need to connect on a deeper level. Maybe when he feels that unconditional love and that acceptance and high regard, he will stop that annoying behavior, or at least it will be diminished in a way that I can deal with it. It's not bothering me anymore. So I'm inviting you to connect on a deeper level. All right. So 3 theories. We learned something from each theory. Now, what does the Bible say about the foundation of communication? I really like this verse, be quick to listen, slow to speak. The Bible knows exactly how when we become dysregulated, God knows, not the Bible. When we become dysregulated, the most important thing for us is to lash out, is to communicate how we feel, is to express in a very colorful way what's bothering us. So we really need to remind ourselves of being quick to listen, slow to speak. It's important also to remember that listening has so many meanings. And the most important part of it is the active listening. I'm sure you heard about it before. So toning to the person's tone and emotion and needs in the message that they are sending. Not being occupied by what's for dinner, or I'm going to pick up the kids in 5 minutes. He needs to finish that sentence that he's trying to say. Or being occupied about what happened at work in the morning. So being tuned, being present with your partner or with your child when they are talking to you. Really listen. What I really like also is the Christ-modeled communication. He was very genuine. He was himself. He wasn't trying to be someone else, or wasn't trying to pretend being a good teacher, for example, in front of public, and then he beat the disciples in the bedroom. There was that genuine personality and approach. He was always present. He was very compassionate. So the expectations and the norm and what might happen in a certain situation, he was challenging that. There was no stereotype about him. And also he was very intentional in his communication style. So he met the person at their point of needs, which is the most important message I'm coming to deliver today. Think about the needs of the other person. Think about what can continuously build effectively the communication between us, the connection between us. Don't think about doing it right more than what does this person need from me right here, right now. Do we have any questions? Any comments? All right, in the next 3 slides, we're going to be covering the communication across developmental stages. So 0 to 5, 6 to 11, 12 to 18. What am I expected? Now I'm not focusing on my partner, I'm not focusing on myself, I'm focusing on my children. So if you have a child in the early childhood years, between 0 to 5, these are the key needs for this age group. They need safety, they need, of course, key needs in each of them will be repeated. But because they are very important for this age group, that's what we're focusing on. So safety is needed across ages. But for the 0 to 5, it's crucial. They need safety, they need predictability, and they need emotional attunement. Then how do I communicate? What's a good example to communicate with this age group? I need to go down to their level. I need to maintain eye contact. I need to make sure that I'm using lots of simple language and I'm using repetition. Here is the repetition came back. And that's exactly the age group we were talking about before. So some of the practical tips, we can use tone more than words. So if I am in a public place at Coles supermarket and I'm going through the checking out aisle and he saw the lolly and started whinging and the whinging is escalating and the whinging becomes a tantrum. Now he's throwing himself on the floor and everybody is looking at me. What do I do? What's the pressing need right here, right now, when I'm dealing with this attitude or this behavior? Safety. Any other needs? To be heard. Sorry? Emotional attunement. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't need to go through a sermon. Why is it important not to eat lollies all the time and how this is important for your teeth health? That's not what they need right here, right now. Their prefrontal cortex has flipped. They are dealing with a very big emotion. Remember the hand brain? So what I need to do is I need to regulate. I need to manage the emotion first in order for me to explain why I said no. But for the time being, a pat on the back. If the child allows me, I can just carry minimum words and a tone that sends and convey a message of safety. I still love you, I still accept you, but the no is a no. Okay? Any questions about this age group? Any particular example in your mind? Yes?
Sorry. Sometimes with my youngest, I have tantrums over the most silliest things. It could be like as silly as I want to brush my teeth and I want to brush it now. And it's like, darling, we're going to have a shower, then we're going to brush our teeth. You haven't had dinner after dinner. And they just completely break down.
Yeah.
Over nothing.
Yeah.
So what do you do in those instances?
Yeah, absolutely. I need to look before, during, and after. I need to assess what's happening in the child's life, because usually it's not about brushing the teeth right here, right now. It's about some pressing emotions that were happening, that were not processed, and they were stored before. So is he overly tired? Is he overly stimulated? What is it exactly happening in his day and his connection with me and others? Yeah? And with the brushing teeth, if I end up brushing his teeth twice, before the shower and after dinner, let's do it. Yeah, so having that flexibility and adaptability is important. But of course, we're not going to be flexible and adaptable in something moral, for example. Like, I want to steal that lolly on my way out. That's not flexibility, you know. But if I can, if there are any in any stages of the routine, remember the predictability and the consistency happens with a clear routine, clear to me and clear to them. So the more I walk into, day in, day out, in my everyday life, they know what to expect next, and I know as well. It makes it easier on both. Any other comments on this age group? All right. With the 6 to 11, their key needs. I want to be understood. I want to be heard. I need structure, but I'm going to defy it to the core. I need encouragement. I need someone to tell me, you're accepted. You're doing well. I really notice the effort that you've made, and I'm encouraging you, I'm behind you to do more. Okay, how to communicate in this age group? They are really good at following instructions also in that age group from 6 to 11. So what I need to do is I need to create that structure, instructions, and I need to follow it, leading by example, remember? And I need to start giving them opportunities to blossom, to become more responsible, to become more committed, to have certain responsibilities that they can achieve on their own without me being involved or being present. Encourage open-ended questions. So instead of how's your day? Good. And then the rest of the ride in the car, for example, is silent, or we're listening to some silly songs that they want to listen to. Make sure that we are working hard, trying our best to create moments of connections. Tell me something that really happened today that really bothered you, and how did you deal with it? If you think that they're going to answer, go, oh, I don't know, nothing really much to report, start by yourself. Share something meaningful about your day and invite them to do the same. So we're modeling that connection, modeling that communication with them. A practical tip, dinner conversations are amazing. If you can, have a couple of nights. I know how every family is so busy, and sometimes we don't have the opportunity to sit around the same table and have a meal. But if a couple of times a week, or 3 to 4 times a week, that would be wonderful. Problem solving. So if we are facing a problem as a family, ask them during that age group, this stage 6 to 11, to come up with some solutions. How do you think we can tackle that problem? How do you think we can solve this issue? Very important to focus on the process and not just the outcome. So we're not just looking at a grade at the end of the term or at the end of the year. We're looking at how much effort they have spent. Are they committed to spending a couple of hours every night studying, and they end up with 80% at the end of the semester? That's okay. Because the effort that they spend needs to be acknowledged, needs to be celebrated in order for them to do more. 12 to 18, of course, we're moving towards adulthood. So I need to be less responsible on their actions. So going back to the example that we were talking about, reminding them to master a certain skills, that kind of diminish in the 12 to 18, and they become more autonomous, more responsible, more seeking that individuality in their lives. They need respect, of course, as we all do. And they need space to create their identity. How we communicate with them, we listen more than we speak, because this age group, you have no idea how much they sit in counseling sessions complaining about the amount of sermons and wazat, they listen from their parents. And as soon as I share whatever is bothering me, I know I'm going to be lectured about it. And instead of connecting, and instead of really listening, actively listening to their needs, to their emotions, to how they make meaning of the world, we jump into providing them with instructions. This is what you have to do, 1, 2, 3. So of course that shuts them down. They have ChatGPT to ask if they need to learn about any knowledge. Now they are reassessing. So I teach at one of the universities, the Masters of Counseling, and last year all the students were not allowed to use any AI. This year, the university had to change the policy. The AI is incorporated into the assignments under certain conditions, of course. And they have to acknowledge it with the references, and they have to use it at a certain level. So that's where we're heading. Knowledge is not important anymore because it's so accessible. It's what are you doing with that knowledge? So we need to provide them with that opportunity of critical thinking rather than just telling them what to do. خلاص بقى عدى الوقت على instructions, Some practical tips how to communicate with them. Do not interrogate. Invite them into the conversation without ومين كان معك وهتروحوا ساكن وفين المكان. I need the address. So that attitude, of course, shuts them down. We really need to be inviting them to be a companionship into our journey once they reach that 12 to 18. And of course, it kind of increases towards the 18. Some of the very important common pitfalls that we all fall into, سواء مع my partner أو my children, is إن أنا react instead of respond. Sometimes all what the person needs from me is to just wait and listen. Don't respond as yet. Don't react to what I'm saying as yet. Oh, you're never available. All what you think about is just the bills and your work, and that's it. So as soon as you hear that, of course your defensive mechanism is going to go up and you want to defend yourself. Oh, you always nag. You already said that millions of times. I already said I'm going to get it on my way back from work. What's wrong with you? As soon as I hear that tune, as soon as I hear these words, I shut and I feel defensive and I feel that I'm not understood. The person is not on my side. So we need to think about not reacting and more responding to the needs of the person. Lecturing, we just talked about it, not just with our children, but can sometimes happen with the partners. I told you so many times. Whatever. Undermining feelings. So the wife is here talking about her feelings or feeling that she's very stressed about the kids, about the school drop-off and pick-up, and the school is going to start on Monday, and now I'm going back to lunch boxes and drop-off and pick-up and all the extracurricular activities that we do after hours. Oh, stop being a drama queen. It's okay. ما احنا بنعمل كده كل term. Undermining the feeling without acknowledging the needs. Using shame or guilt or fear. So أرجع back للexample بتاع شايفة lots of laughs, lots of identifications.
Actually, you stressing a lot of points يعني. في ناس في اعترافاتها ما كانتش بتتكلم عن كل التفاصيل يعني after this session انا محتاج اراجع الاجنده بتاعت الاعتراف عندي اشوفها الاستراكشر هنعمله ازاي يعني. By the way, this is Maggie, my wife. Yes. لو كانت بتسأل أسئلة صعبة قولي لي عشان أمشي.
Okay. طبعا لو احنا لجأنا للأساليب المال adaptive way of communication or connection دي هنوصل لأن احنا هندمج التراست ما بيننا وما بين بعض أو ما بيننا وما بين أولادنا. مش هيبقى في openness. Next time your wife is feeling stressed or anxious or overwhelmed about something, you will be the last person that she will go to talk to. And of course, we're not going to be creating that emotional safety for each other. طيب throughout كل اللي سمعناه والأفكار اللي احنا بنراجعها مع بعض أنا عايزاكم تسألوا نفسكم genuine self-reflection. Do I really listen or do I talk more? Either with my partner or my child. What tone do I use? When someone calls my name at home, and I'm like, yes. Or am I, yeah? Is there a curiosity? I am inviting the other person to come along? Or am I fed up and I cannot deal with this anymore? And how do I respond to emotions? Do I leave safe room for my child, for my partner, to talk about their emotions, to share their thoughts and ideas, to share their fears, their overwhelmness, or do I shut them down? In the next 3 slides, let's focus on the positive side of connection, the positive side of communication. If I identified out of everything I heard, if I identified I do have some flaws in my connection with my loved ones. I do have some communication style أنا محتاجة أشتغل عليه. What do I do? تعالوا نعملها baby steps. Say it better. طيب لو أنا I identify نرجع back للexample بتاع clean after your wee. And I've been saying the same words with the same tone over and over like 1,000 times and nothing is changing. Can I say it better?
When they go to others, everyone is praising my kids. But when it's inside my house,
This is really wonderful. That means that you are their emotion safety. If they don't care about doing it right. So I need to reframe the negative statements. تعالوا identify. احنا غصبا عننا resort ان احنا ندي instructions. Don't do كذا. Have you heard Simon Sinek before? One of the inspirational speakers, contemporary inspirational speakers around. I love him. He's really great. One of his wonderful, famous ideas is the brain do not understand the negative sentence, the negative structure of a sentence. So if I tell you now, don't think of an elephant, what's the first thing that jumps into your mind? It's an elephant. So that's exactly what you're doing to your partner and your kids. When you say don't do, that's the first thing that jumps into their mind, the action that you are telling them not to do. So what I need to do is I need to reframe the negative to a positive statement. So instead of don't, do kaza. Yeah? And validating languages, of course. We all know how to acknowledge. We all know how to validate. ما يجي حد really vulnerable and sharing with me أنا تعبان من النقطة الفلانية. النهاردة حصل an argument or موقف مش لذيذ في الشغل وأنا I'm really struggling to make a positive meaning of it. A tap on the shoulder. Just sit quiet if you don't have anything positive to say. Just listen. Show that you're really interested in that person's hurt. Okay? Another wonderful way to support yourself, especially at times of dysregulation, and especially with the teenagers, is to pause, pray, and respond. في أوقات كتيرة مع ولادنا مع البارتنرز بتاعنا we feel like we're hitting a brick wall. We're not going anywhere. Take a deep breath. Realize the impact of الhard disagreement اللي حاصل أو you're not seeing eye to eye or you're not having your needs met at this point in time. Realize it. Walk away just for a short يعني for a glimpse of a second كده. Pause. Deep breath. Say a little prayer. God, give me wisdom. God, عايزني أقول إيه؟ عايزني أعمل إيه في situation دي? I feel stuck. And then go back and respond calmly. You will never go wrong with that. I promise. Final notes. قلنا إن communication means. What did we say it means? connection. So احنا النهارده بنتكلم عن connection مش بنتكلم عن communication. We did say that communication and connection thrives لما ابقى present, لما ابقى intentional, لما ابقى loving and caring, accepting, having that acceptance attitude towards the other. And when communication is done well, we did say that it creates a place for comfort and safety. It creates a place for growth. أنا نفسي بعرف نفسي أحسن. ببدأ أتعلم. Lovely. Thank you so much for the voice effect. I liked it. I'm nearly done. and a place to experience God's unconditional love. So لو أنا في كل موقف أريكت حتى لو إن هم مسكوا المايك وعملوا a little noise at church بس they walked out النهاردة feeling إن إحنا كلنا we smiled and we looked at them with pride, that's enough إنه يsend them God's unconditional love rather than come here, give it. يعني لو أنا I'm given an hour as an example of how much I spend with them, let's say إن ال 1 hour دي is 100%, 10% منها محتاجة تبقى instructional ومحتاجة تبقى discipline و 90% منها محتاجة تبقى connection, deep connection. Have that as a ratio, as a prorata. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you about communicating, connecting with your loved ones. I enjoyed sharing معاكم certain theories that help us understand how we connect. I enjoyed sharing معاكم different age groups وازاي نحن نكوميونيكيت معاهم and also some pitfalls احنا بنقع فيها when we're dealing with our partners and our kids. آخر حاجة حسيبكم تفكروا فيها. What message will my child remember me with? أنا كنت preschool teacher for a good years of my life, and I used to enjoy very much doing a questionnaire with during Mother's Day and Father's Day. كنا بنعمل questions للولاد يجاوبوها when displayed for a Mother's Day concert يعني. And one of the questions is, what does mommy say all the time to you? And I cannot describe the amount of comments and feedback, positive and negative, that I used to get. It was really interesting. So ask yourself, what message do I want my partner and my child to be remembering me with?
My son described me before that I'm a good cleaner. I have 3 jobs.
So that's an invitation for you to self-reflect.
Invitation to leave and go work. That's enough.
آخر حاجة I would like you to do for the rest of the day, if you would like to ponder on اللي احنا قلناه. One thing I will change in my communication style this week. Thank you so much. Any questions?
Guys, any questions for Sylvia? You must have made it hard for you. كحي. سلام. Thank you very much, Sylvia. نورتينا خالص. ربنا يعوضك. It was amazing having you with us. Yeah. Thank you. أفكركم next week we still continue our meeting. Next week we will have Mariam continuing with the communication thing, but it's in a different aspect. We'll announce the topic on the group as well. كل سنة وانتم طيبين وكل وانتم طيبين. تفضلوا نصلي. Let's pray. هللويا 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 يسوع المسيح ملك المجد قام من نشكرك يا رب من محبتك، نشكرك يا رب من اجتماعنا هذا، نشكرك يا رب من اجل وجودك في حياتنا يا رب. بارك يا رب في عمل ايديك، بارك يا رب في خيرنا، بارك يا رب في اولادك واقفين امامك، بارك يا رب في اسرنا بيوتنا يا رب، مداخلنا وخارجنا يا رب، احفظنا يا رب في يمينك. اذكر يا رب الذين امنوا، اذكر صلاه كل واحد باسمك الحسنى، اذكر رب الاسره يا رب، اذكر يا رب اولادك كل ما كان اسمعنا عندك وشكر قائلين ابانا الذي في السماوات قدس اسمك ياتي ملكوتك تكن مشيئتك كما في السماء كذلك على الارض. خذنا اعطينا اليوم واغفر لنا ذنوبنا. كل مرة وانتم طيبين. اتفضل، اللي عايز قربان يتفضل.
Can you help me open the cabinet? Be extra gentle.